Hello Zenith women and welcome to the channel. The rarest souls are the ones who walk alone, yet their presence is felt everywhere. There's something eerily powerful about a Sigma female. She doesn't just enter a room, she shifts its entire frequency. She's the woman people remember without understanding why. The force that disrupts illusions without saying a word. While society obsesses over labels and hierarchies, she exists outside them, untethered and untouched. And here's a fact. Less than 1% of women possess the true Sigma archetype, making them rarer than an honest politician. These women aren't just different, they are designed differently, operating on a spiritual wavelength few can comprehend. Their gifts are not loud, nor are they predictable. Some might call them witches, mystics, or enigmas, but the truth is far more complex. Today we're unraveling the 10 spiritual gifts Sigma females are naturally born with, abilities so potent they can bend reality, alter perceptions, and leave permanent imprints on the souls they encounter. But be warned, once you recognize these gifts, you'll never see them or yourself the same way again. Number 1, the sacred withdrawal effect. When a Sigma female withdraws her energy, it's not just an absence, it's a loss. People feel it like something vital has been removed from their reality, even if they can't quite explain what it was. It's not about attention-seeking or manipulation. It's the simple fact that her presence carries a depth most people aren't used to. When that depth is gone, the world around them feels suddenly less. Unlike most, she doesn't make grand exits. There are no dramatic speeches, no long explanations, no pleas for closure. One day she's there, silent, intense, watching everything, and the next, she's simply gone. What makes this so unsettling is that people rarely notice the moment she begins to pull away. It's like the tide receding before a massive wave, except there's no wave coming, just a void where she used to be. The withdrawal of a Sigma female isn't just physical, it's energetic. People who were once close to her might find themselves randomly thinking about her months or even years later, wondering why she still lingers in their thoughts. It's because she didn't just interact with them, she imprinted on them. Her presence activated parts of their mind they had ignored, forced them to confront truths they weren't ready for, and now without her, there's a subtle but persistent emptiness. Those who took her energy for granted feel it the most. They assumed she'd always be accessible, always be the quiet force in the background, always be that unwavering presence. When she's no longer there, it's like the foundation of something they didn't even realize they were standing on has been ripped away. This is why so many people try to reconnect with her long after she's moved on, but by then it's too late. A Sigma female doesn't do returns. Once she's withdrawn, it's permanent, not out of spite, but because she understands something most don't. Energy is sacred, and hers is not to be wasted. Those who felt her presence will always know what they lost, but they'll never truly grasp what it was they had in the first place, and that, more than anything, is what haunts them the most. Number 2, the uncaged spirit. A Sigma female is born free in a world that constantly tries to put her in a cage. Society has rules, expectations, and pre-written paths for women to follow, yet none of them seem to fit her. It's not rebellion for the sake of rebellion, it's simply that her mind refuses to conform to systems that don't align with her core truth. She doesn't reject norms out of defiance. She does it because they do not apply to her. She can't be owned, labeled, or confined. Ideologies try to claim her, relationships attempt to define her, and environments work to shape her, but none succeed. If something limits her, she walks away without hesitation, without guilt, and without looking back. It's not that she chooses freedom, it's that freedom chooses her. The moment she feels trapped, she disengages. This is why she never fully belongs anywhere, yet somehow she fits everywhere. What makes her truly untamable is her immunity to traditional forms of manipulation. Guilt-tripping doesn't work because she doesn't base her decisions on external expectations. Peer pressure fails because she doesn't seek approval. Emotional blackmail is useless because she can detach at will. Even power struggles bore her. She doesn't fight for control, she simply has it. Those who try to influence her often find themselves frustrated, realizing that she moves by her own rhythm, on her own time, for reasons only she understands. This level of independence makes her both deeply admired and intensely resented. Some see her as an inspiration, a rare soul who refuses to bow. Others see her as a threat, because a woman who cannot be controlled is a woman some fear the most. Relationships with her require mutual respect, not possession. Jobs must allow her space, not suffocation. Friendships must be built on understanding, not obligation. She doesn't seek to be different, she is different. And that difference makes her impossible to contain. The world may try to shape her, mold her, or force her into a role, but in the end, she remains what she was always meant to be, uncaged, untamed, and undeniably free. Number 3, phantom empathy. A Sigma female's empathy is not a curse, it's a weapon sharpened by choice and precision. While typical empaths often find themselves drowning in the emotions of others, absorbing pain they never asked for, a Sigma female operates differently. She chooses when, where, and with whom to engage emotionally. This ability sets her apart, making her an enigma even among other emotionally intelligent people. She feels deeply, there's no doubt about that, but unlike those who let their emotions control them, she remains the master of her own emotional world. She doesn't just take in energy, she filters it. If someone around her is suffering but lacks authenticity, she won't waste her energy. If she senses manipulation, she disengages instantly. If she detects raw, unspoken pain in someone genuine, she may open the door just enough to let them in, but never to the point of losing herself. This controlled empathy confuses people. They expect her to react like the typical empath, to be always available, always feeling, always absorbing. But she doesn't play by those rules. One moment she can seem warm and understanding, the next completely detached and unbothered. This isn't coldness, it's efficiency. She refuses to deplete herself for people who wouldn't do the same for her. Her ability to turn empathy on and off is what makes her so powerful. It allows her to navigate relationships without emotional exhaustion, to avoid manipulation, and to maintain a rare level of emotional independence. She doesn't need to be understood, nor does she feel obligated to explain why she cares only when it suits her. And this is what unnerves people the most. To those who think they can guilt her into feeling, she remains immune. To those who believe they can drain her, she remains untouchable. But to those rare few who earn her trust, she is one of the most deeply understanding souls they will ever encounter. She is an empath, but on her terms, and that difference makes all the difference. Number 4, mastery of the unsaid. A Sigma female doesn't need a lot of words to make her presence felt. She doesn't waste time explaining herself, convincing others, or filling silences with empty chatter. Instead, she lets her energy do the talking. One glance, one shift in expression, or one well-placed pause can carry more meaning than an entire monologue. And the most unsettling part? People feel it even if they can't explain why. She has mastered the power of the unsaid. In a world where most people talk just to be heard, she understands that silence, when used correctly, is louder than words. A single look from her can stop someone in their tracks. A delayed response can send a stronger message than an immediate reply. The way she carries herself, calm, measured, unbothered, speaks volumes without her ever having to say, "I don't entertain nonsense." This ability makes people both intrigued and uneasy around her. They want to know what she's thinking, but she rarely gives them the satisfaction of an answer. They expect explanations, but she offers none. They want her to react, but she refuses to give away her energy so easily. This puts her in control of almost every interaction, because when someone isn't predictable, they become impossible to manipulate. What people fail to realize is that she notices everything. The shift in someone's tone, the micro-expressions they think go unnoticed, the inconsistencies in their words. She picks it all up. And yet, she often says nothing, choosing instead to store the information for when it truly matters. She knows that in a world full of noise, the one who speaks the least, but with precision, holds the most power. This mastery of the unsaid is why she's impossible to read. People can guess what she's thinking, but they'll never truly know unless she wants them to. And when she finally does speak, every word is intentional, sharp, and impossible to ignore. Because when someone who rarely speaks chooses to, the world listens. Number 5, the echo effect. A Sigma female doesn't just pass through people's lives, she leaves an imprint so deep it's almost haunting. Long after she's left a conversation, a room, or even a person's life, her energy lingers like an unfinished sentence. People find themselves replaying her words, analyzing her silences, and trying to decode what it was about her that felt different. This is the echo effect. The way her presence refuses to fade, even in her absence. It's not intentional. She's not seeking attention or trying to be memorable. In fact, she often prefers to slip away unnoticed. But that's the irony. While she moves on effortlessly, others struggle to forget her. Her energy is too distinct, too rare, too piercing to simply disappear. People who have interacted with her may randomly think about her weeks, months, or even years later, unable to pinpoint why she suddenly popped into their mind. Some dream about her. Others replay conversations in their head, wondering what she really meant when she said that one thing in that one moment. Even those who barely knew her can't shake the feeling that they should have paid more attention when she was around. Why does this happen? Because she sees people differently. She speaks in a way that bypasses surface-level interactions and reaches deeper than most are used to. She challenges perspectives, even without trying. She doesn't engage in empty conversations or forced connections. When she speaks, she means it. When she looks at someone, they feel seen. And when she walks away, they're left with the unsettling realization that they may never meet someone like her again. This effect is particularly intense for those who underestimated her, the ones who assumed she was just another face in the crowd, only to later realize she was operating on an entirely different frequency. By the time they recognize her impact, she's already gone, physically, emotionally, and energetically. That's the power of a Sigma female. She doesn't demand attention. She doesn't force herself to be remembered. But the moment she's gone, people feel the weight of her absence like an unfinished thought they'll never get to complete. Number 6, dimensional perception beyond time. A Sigma female doesn't just observe the present, she reads reality on a level that most can't comprehend. Her mind naturally connects dots that others don't even realize exist. It's not just intuition, it's an advanced perception that seems almost outside of time itself. She sees patterns, underlying currents, and unspoken truths before they fully unfold. This ability often makes her feel detached from the way most people process life. While others react to situations in real time, she's already 5 steps ahead, seeing the inevitable trajectory of events before they happen. She picks up on subtle shifts in energy, body language, and even the weight of silence. A conversation that seems harmless to others might tell her everything she needs to know about a person's true intentions. A seemingly random decision might trigger a deeper realization about what's coming next. Because of this, people often accuse her of being paranoid or over-analyzing things until she turns out to be right. Time after time, she predicts betrayals, sudden life shifts, and hidden motives long before they're obvious to anyone else. This is not magic. It's simply the result of seeing what others ignore. She notices inconsistencies, feels the emotional shifts people try to hide, and recognizes patterns that repeat themselves in human behavior. Her perception extends beyond people. It applies to environments, relationships, and even global events. She can sense when something is off before there's any logical reason to feel that way. She trusts her gut, not because it's a feeling, but because it's a track record of accuracy. She has learned that time doesn't reveal truth to her. She perceives truth before time catches up. This ability is both a gift and a curse. It allows her to protect herself, navigate life with precision, and make decisions that seem irrational to others but later prove to be right. But it also means she lives with a constant awareness that most people will never understand. While the rest of the world reacts to what they can see, she moves according to what she knows. And that makes her impossible to fool, control, or deceive. Number 7, resonance with the unseen. A Sigma female moves through life tuned into a frequency most people don't even know exists. She doesn't just rely on logic or surface-level observations, she feels what's beneath them. Her intuition is not a vague hunch or a lucky guess, it's a sharp, unrelenting awareness that picks up on things long before they become obvious. She notices the unseen, the shift in energy when someone walks into a room, the unspoken tension between two people who claim to be fine. The way certain places carry a weight as if imprinted by past events. While others move through life blind to these subtleties, she absorbs them effortlessly. This deep connection with the unseen often results in eerie synchronicities. Random thoughts turn into real-life events. She thinks of someone, and they call. She walks into a situation already knowing how it will play out. These moments are so frequent that she doesn't even question them anymore. It's not coincidence, it's an ongoing dialogue with reality itself. Because of this, people sometimes mistake her for having psychic abilities, but it's not about predicting the future. It's about recognizing patterns, energies, and subtle messages that most people overlook. She can sense when someone is hiding something, not because they act suspiciously, but because their energy doesn't align with their words. She can anticipate shifts in her own life, not because of external signs, but because she feels the undercurrents moving before they reach the surface. This heightened perception makes her both deeply aware and at times deeply detached. She struggles with shallow conversations and environments that lack depth because she is constantly picking up on things others ignore. It's why she often prefers solitude. Being around too many people can feel like standing in the middle of a storm of unspoken emotions, half-truths, and misplaced intentions. She is not supernatural, she is simply tuned in to the unspoken, the hidden, the subtle forces that shape reality in ways most will never notice. And because of this, she moves differently, guided not by what's seen, but by what's felt. Number 8, reality distortion. Capability. A Sigma female is an optical illusion in human form. Just when someone thinks they've figured her out, she shifts into something else entirely. She doesn't do this intentionally, it's simply the result of her existing outside the rigid expectations people place on others. She doesn't fit into a neat category, and that frustrates those who crave predictability. One moment she's an enigma, quiet, observing, impossible to read. People are drawn to her mystery, trying to decode what she's thinking. But just as they start to believe they have a grasp on her, she does something that contradicts everything they assumed. She speaks with unexpected intensity. She challenges a belief they thought she shared. She walks away from a dynamic they assumed she would stay in. Suddenly she's no longer a mystery, she's a threat. Those who can't control or label her often grow uneasy in her presence. They realize she's not playing the same social games as everyone else. She doesn't seek approval, doesn't follow trends, and doesn't mold herself to fit expectations. For some, this is unsettling, because a woman who cannot be categorized is a woman who cannot be controlled. Yet to others, she becomes a muse. Her presence inspires, provokes thought, and challenges the way people see themselves. Artists, thinkers, and rebels are often drawn to her because she embodies something rare, absolute authenticity. She moves through life unshaped by external forces, existing entirely on her own terms. Those who are awake enough to recognize this can't help but admire her. But the strangest part, no one ever truly knows her. Even those closest to her only see fragments of who she is. She shifts between roles effortlessly, not to deceive, but because she simply isn't one thing. She can be fierce one moment and detached the next. Nurturing yet distant, present yet unknowable. People leave interactions with her questioning their own perceptions, wondering if they ever understood her at all. This is the Sigma female's reality distortion capability, not because she is trying to be different, but because she is undefinable by nature. And that, more than anything, is what keeps people endlessly fascinated and forever unsettled. Number 9, inner quantum leap. Ability. A Sigma female doesn't evolve in a straight line. While most people move through life in predictable stages, gradual learning, slow emotional development, steady mindset shifts, she operates differently. She experiences sudden quantum leaps in growth that propel her light years ahead in ways that even she can't fully explain. One day she may resonate with a particular mindset, a relationship, a goal. The next, it's as if she has outgrown it overnight. It's not forced, and it's not a slow realization. It's a sudden, irreversible shift that completely alters the way she thinks, sees the world, and interacts with others. And once she reaches this new level, there is no going back. This ability makes her unpredictable. People who once felt close to her might wake up one day and realize she has emotionally and mentally moved past them without warning. It's not personal. It's simply that her growth is not tied to external timelines. While others take years to unlearn toxic patterns, detach from limiting beliefs, or break free from unhealthy dynamics, she does it in moments of realization that are so powerful they rewire her entire being. Her quantum leaps often come after deep reflection, solitude, or intense life experiences. While most would take time to process, she absorbs the lesson in full and transforms instantly. One moment she may be emotionally invested in something. The next it holds zero weight in her mind. One day she may be questioning her path. The next she moves forward with absolute certainty. This level of rapid transformation can be disorienting for those around her. People assume she is the same person they once knew, only to realize that she has mentally and spiritually outpaced them without explanation. Relationships, careers, belief systems, anything that no longer aligns with her upgraded self is left behind, sometimes without closure. She doesn't waste time in transitions. She simply arrives at her next level and moves forward. This is why a Sigma female is never truly stuck. While others wait for change to come in slow, manageable steps, she shifts realities in an instant. She doesn't just grow. She leaps, evolves, and transcends in ways that most will never understand. Number 10. Unorthodox manifestation. Ability. A Sigma female doesn't manifest like everyone else. She doesn't sit around visualizing, scripting affirmations, or hoping the universe delivers what she wants. She becomes it. Her manifestation process is unorthodox because it's not based on external rituals. It's rooted in identity shifting. While most people focus on wanting something, she shifts into the version of herself who already has it. She doesn't just believe in a new reality. She embodies it so completely that reality has no choice but to align with her. This is why she often seems to bend reality in ways others can't. While people struggle with self-doubt, she operates from certainty. She doesn't wish for confidence, she steps into it. She doesn't hope for success. She carries herself as if it's already hers, and because of this, people treat her accordingly. Opportunities flow to her, and circumstances mold themselves around her self-perception. Her approach is so natural that others don't even recognize it as manifestation. They assume she's just lucky or naturally magnetic. But what they don't realize is that she doesn't chase. She attracts by becoming. She moves through the world with the energy of someone who already owns the outcome. And as a result, the outcome meets her halfway. This also explains why she outgrows situations so fast. Once she shifts internally, external reality scrambles to keep up. Jobs, relationships, and environments that no longer match her self-image begin to fade away. She doesn't need to force change. It happens automatically. And by the time people notice what's happening, she's already stepped into her next level. Her ability to manifest isn't magic, it's a deep, instinctive understanding of how reality mirrors identity. While others beg the universe for change, she becomes the change, and the universe follows her lead. Number 11. Spiritual rebellion instinct. A Sigma female doesn't just challenge systems, she rejects them on an instinctive level. While others need proof, debate, or permission to question authority, she feels when something is energetically off before she even understands why. This isn't rebellion for the sake of rebellion. It's a built-in defense mechanism against anything that seeks to enslave, manipulate, or drain her spirit. She can walk into a situation, a conversation, or a belief system and immediately sense whether it aligns with her or not. No one has to warn her about a toxic environment. She picks up on the energetic weight before anyone says a word. She doesn't need to be told that a tradition, expectation, or ideology is oppressive. Her gut rejects it before her mind can even articulate the reasons. And when she feels that rejection, she acts, instantly, unapologetically, and without waiting for permission. This is why she is immune to control. Guilt, obligation, and fear, the usual tools used to keep people compliant, don't work on her. She simply doesn't engage in dynamics that require her to shrink, conform, or surrender her autonomy. While others second-guess themselves, wondering if they're overreacting, she trusts herself without hesitation. If something feels wrong, it is. And that's all she needs to know. This instinct makes her unpredictable to those who thrive on structure and obedience. They can't manipulate her through tradition because she doesn't respect authority for the sake of authority. They can't shame her into following the crowd because she doesn't care about belonging. They can't trap her in ideological boxes because she was born outside of them. Even before she understands the full depth of a system's control, she senses its weight. She may not always have the words to explain why she resists, but she resists anyway. And as time passes, she usually discovers she was right all along. This is spiritual rebellion at its purest form. Not loud, performative defiance, but a deep soul-level refusal to be owned by anything or anyone. And this is why no system, relationship, or belief structure can ever fully contain a Sigma female. She was built to be free. A Sigma female is not just different, she is designed to be. Her existence defies labels. Her energy distorts perception, and her spirit remains untamed no matter how much the world tries to mold her. She moves through life with an almost supernatural awareness, shifting realities, outpacing expectations, and rejecting any form of control that tries to claim her. What makes her powerful isn't what she does, it's who she is. She doesn't force things, she becomes them. She doesn't chase, she attracts. She doesn't need validation, she knows. And because of this, she bends reality in ways most will never understand. This is why people can't forget her, why she lingers in their minds long after she's gone. She exists outside of time, beyond trends, and above manipulation. She is both a mystery and a mirror, revealing to others what they either admire or fear within themselves. But the most powerful thing about her, she is not waiting to be understood. The world may struggle to define her, but she has never needed their definitions to exist. She walks her own path, makes her own rules, and evolves at a speed only she can comprehend. And that is why she remains unforgettable. Not because she demands attention, but because she is a force too rare to ignore. If this resonated with you, if you felt these words rather than just read them, then you're exactly where you need to be. Sigma females don't follow the crowd, but when they find something that speaks to their soul, they know it. So don't just watch, be part of this movement. Like this video if it spoke to you. Comment below with the part that hit you the hardest. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it with them, because rare minds recognize each other. And of course, subscribe to the channel. You already know we don't do surface level content here. Stay connected, stay evolving, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep moving in your power.